Welcome back to Fut-Afrique channel. I am with Mpoza. We are about to celebrate the very first African Football League Championship. I don't know. Should Mamelodi Sundowns create a star? Because people don't understand. A star is a decision by the club. It's no association telling you if you have to put a star or not. So Sundowns can start putting stars at the bottom.
No.
You don't want that?
No,
Okay,
star.
cool.
Stars is for the Champions League.
It's okay. Did you see Wydad?
Yes, I
Wydad,
saw because they've got two
on top. The
and
bottom
one
one is the
on top.
league title
Yes.
they've won.
But remember, the PSL has just made a ruling. They're going to get their stars sorted out. But
if they do that, Kaizer Chief, the logo is going to have 3 logos because
they need stars.
Boza, we are the champion. We are the champions. I'm talking from a Mzansi football lover, not from a Sundown perspective. How was the stadium? The atmosphere first. Let's start from there.
Just arriving at the stadium. So in my head, I said people are going to arrive at the stadium early. Mm-hmm. So 1 o'clock I was at the stadium. I thought I'm early. I arrive at 1:15. The main grandstand at Loftus Versfeld is full. I'm like, yeah. Now, I was excited because I had seen what's outside. Because some fans were still sitting around. I'm going, this is going to be a packed stadium and it's going to be good.
It had to, because you said it before, 3 weeks ago, 2 weeks ago, you said, we are not a football nation. Yes. Which means we need an incentive.
Yes.
And the incentive was great, man.
I mean,
free transport, free entrance.
What you've got to be able to do to the management of Mamelodi Sundowns.
They did it well.
Well done on a decision to make the entrance free for all your supporters. Well done for being able to talk to your branches, those you could be able to get them to the stadium, you got them to the stadium. To the supporters that drove themselves to the stadium and got themselves there, well done, because it made such a huge difference.
How was the atmosphere? I'm feeling it. I wasn't there. I saw it on TV.
So when you then get there, now for the first time, because normally when teams warm up, there isn't a lot of people at the stadium.
Yes, that is what I know in South African football.
So by the time,
sent me some pictures, I couldn't believe it.
By the time that the team walked out, forget warming up, just walked out to see the pitch.
It was crazy.
The way that players knew that they were in a hostile territory because they were booed with every step that they took. I even saw mirrors at the stadium to say, because the North Africans have got lasers, the South African mirror. But
explain the mirrors.
The reflection in your eyes.
Which reflection from the sun?
From the sun.
Yeah.
What was the temperature? I sent you a picture. It was 34 degrees.
You played and I played. Let's keep reminding people that we are talking from experience of being on the pitch. What does weather, the sun, do when you are playing football?
So when you're playing, you want to get
not when you're playing in the casino. No, when you're playing in front of thousands of people watching.
One, you've got the pressure of the event because this is the final.
Yeah,
you're not playing against a small relegation team. You're playing against the best in the continent.
A chance to greet Ifetino as a winner and Patrice Motsepe
when
as
those
a winner.
Events happen, because I mean, you've seen the president of FIFA is there and the vice president of FIFA being the president of CAF, and you're getting to see all this. That gets
your parents.
You see everybody that's there, and then you're going, this is an event, this is a big event. And then you kind of go, there's one pressure.
How heavy does your boot get? People don't understand.
No, you feel like you've got cement. And that's when you should be able to switch on your mind and be able to.
You just need to touch the ball first. Just touch it. So that's
first touch is important because you want to touch the ball as quickly as possible, get comfortable. I've seen keepers want to hold the ball, just get familiar with it. But there's something that happens when you walk into the Loftus tunnel.
What is there?
It reminds you of the altitude of Loftus and that it matters.
Go to Poza's Twitter account or X, Poza929. The picture will be there telling you something about Loftus altitude. So let's break there and explain what that altitude means.
So from an athletic perspective, that you want to get as much oxygen in your system as quickly as possible. Now, the higher you go, the thinner the air gets. And the altitude that we are at is like being at the mountaintop. Wydad is using in Morocco, where they come
Sea
from,
level. Zero.
they're at sea level.
Zero.
So when you've now gone up one, the air is thin.
And it is hot.
The temperature says, hello, my friend.
So how does it benefit a home team? What do you need to do as a home team?
So as a home team, things that you need to be able to do. Keep the ball within the field. Keep it at pace, keep them running, because the more you run, you're trying to get as much oxygen as possible.
The tired you get.
You get more tired. So what you will see, remember you've had teams like Al Ahly complain about why must it be 3 o'clock? Why? It's not because they know the altitude, the air is thin. And the way that Sundowns plays, you want to keep the ball on the ground, keep them running. The breathing becomes difficult. That's
Do you
why
remember
see-
playing in Toyando at 12 o'clock against Cosmos?
No. That was a trip that I mean, if you remember,
Nobody in PSL wanted that trip.
I mean, nobody wanted the trip.
12 o'clock, Toyando.
People pray for teams in that area not to be promoted because nobody wanted. So on Saturday, the temperature was at 34 degrees.
Wow.
And now I'm like, I'm hot in the stands.
What's
And
happening
then-
down there?
And then I watched the way that team trained. Every 2 minutes, there was a water break because of that.
If the supporters are 30th men, what the weather now? Whether you become the 40th?
Yeah, no, the weather becomes 13, 14, 15, 16. And now you now got a team that plays football. And you could see that way that...
Both of them.
You've got...
I mean, Wydad is a
So-
damn good team.
Wydad, and you've got to be able to say this, Wydad was a worthy adversary because they are able to, one, play football. Two, they knew that they've got to have tactics that are off the field, that are not on the field, that slows Sundowns down. So any knock to a Wydad player, it's not just a get up and get going. It took 3-4 minutes that even their medical team runs slower. They don't run to you to be able to get up quickly.
And Sundown wasn't looking at the match stats. No, it is amazing. I hope they spoke about it. Sundown, they kept 61% of
The possession.
which means they wanted them to chase the game.
Yes, and that's important. So Wydad were trying all these tactics, and this was at the time that the score was still 0-0, because at 0-0, Wydad are the champions.
Yes, that's
And-
all they wanted. Even 1-0.
I mean, I remember on my spaces I had Wydad fans. They were asking for one question: is Shalulile back?
We'll get to that.
So you're now going. The game's about to start.
Yeah.
The weather is at 34 degrees Celsius. Altitude is not on your side. The Sundown supporters are singing. They are loud, and now they bring mirrors to the game.
But so by then, Wydad already got the starting 11.
Yes. That says Shalulile is there. Oh,
What do you think it makes players because they will look at the start and they know what Shalulile can
Yes.
do. Besides scoring a goal, there's no stand.
but
He's
also
all over the place. He
but
runs
also-
everywhere.
But also is that Shalulile came on a place of the young Maseko who was player of the tournament.
Yes.
Maseko runs. So now you're going,
There is no
because
break.
okay, there's no Maseko.
There is no
but
break.
is that one that is known for finishing these goals? So there's a lot of pressure that's adding to this.
So you understand. And at this moment, you're a Sundown supporter.
I was 50%. This looks good for Sundowns.
It looks good for Sundown.
Looks good for Sundowns.
Did you feel the atmosphere of being at that moment, not a Sundown, but a South African? Did you feel that?
Look, for me as a football lover,
Yeah.
and here's the thing: when you played away at Wydad, the way that supporters let you know that you are in hostile territory. They were singing, they had lasers, you knew. Now, as a South African, you're going. I remember there's a friend of mine, Muzi, who's on X, and we were talking about temperature, and I kept saying, Muzi, look at the temperature. Because now you've got the pressure of weather, you've got the pressure of altitude, you've got the pressure of the support base, and now the pressure of the game itself. Because in the first 20 minutes, now Wydad, I think they had more injuries than anybody because the players goes down. They're trying to break the game down, and you've got under.
You have to do that.
And you see Coach
And that is the
Rolani
football
wanting
intelligence.
and and they did that to Sundowns in the Champions League semi-final. Once Wydad scored and it was a draw, they would slow the game down. You wouldn't find injury. But now they did that in the first 20 minutes. and the man that they feared the most, Shadulile, scored. I mean, I remember before it was 0-0. And this is when you say the ball boys are just as important.
Oh yeah,
because
they're there strategically.
Because
anyway, they come from your academy. That's what you have to do.
So whoever's the home team supplies the ball boys.
Supply the ball boy from the academy.
So it's not just any guys that you get off the field.
No.
It's soccer players, which means they're switched on.
They're playing.
There was a time there was 4 balls on the field. Wydad were taking a goal kick, and the goalkeeper leaves the 4 balls on the field, goes to fetch the ball outside. Now, what that does, it's still buying him time, right? He comes back, and he says to the ref, there's too many balls on the ground. And at the time, I am pulling my hair out because all the other players don't even touch the balls. He comes, he fetches each ball at a time, he throws it out. And the Sundowns players then want to kick them out.
As a footballer, you appreciate those things.
No,
that's a football.
No, as a Sundowns fan, it's like, no, but as a footballer, you're going, these are tactics.
And that's why I sincerely believe football players' age counts in those big moments.
And that says a lot in terms of what the technical team of Sundowns has done. They were now aware of those because the one thing that counted against them is that they wanted to play pretty football. They wanted to play, and it didn't get them the Champions League. Now they've learned what is it that we need to do. Let's play the game.
To win it.
If we have to get in the mud, we are ready for the mud. After Shadulile scored, the same keeper that was looking for the ball, now the ball boys put the ball right next to him. He must now run and come and fetch the ball. Even the way that bench wanted to keep balls on the bench so that they can now kick them to their own players. Now guess who's playing the slowing down game? Suddenly Sundowns is playing. But here are some of the things
classic.
But now, you've got one, there's ways to slow Wydad from moving forward. You want to keep the ball. So you want Alende to be the player that's on the ball. You want the likes of Tembazwani to be on the ball. You want the likes of Mudiba to be on the ball.
But that's a question I wanted to ask. I'm looking at a substitution here, right? Why did they change all their 3 attacking players? And they changed 2 defensive midfield. Sundown did exactly the same. 3 upfront players changed, 2 midfielders changed. What the message the coaches are telling us there, that give us all you have, we will change.
But for me, it's a thing. In South Africa, people will always say Sundowns talk about having depth. Even when you make those changes, you shouldn't be giving up on quality.
You should elevate your game.
So what then happens is that
keep it the same.
So Mvela was dropped because he was on a red card because of the red card that he got against Pedro Luanda at Loftus. So he couldn't play the first. But when he was eligible to play in the final in the first league, Grant Kekana had played well. But the first half was not the best that Sundowns has ever played. Now Mvela comes in. It doesn't drop the standard. It just means you've now got a defender who's going to be very ruthless in how he plays. Riva is now injured. You're now going, what do we do? Instead of playing Nku and Maseko, you then go Modao will be the inverted one, and then Shadulile and Ribeiro start. Now you've got a different aspect, that's because now it shows you the acumen of Coach Rulani and his technical team to say, how do you use this depth to you?
Close this for us. Is African Football League something we need to see going forward?
I think it is, and from what I can say, and I pray that CAF are able to keep the African League going, because what it did, it pitted the teams against each other, the top of regional teams against each other, and you are now able to see strength for strength. You've also got to look at the business side of that, what CAF has done.
But before we go business, we stay in football. Do you think we have by next season to increase the numbers of the team involved? We did not get Morocco here.
Look, I'd love to get more teams to be able to participate.
We did not get Ghana.
And if that is able to go up from 8 to 16, even better, because it gives you where that you're playing the best against the best. It gives you the thing where you are able to say, how does this then, I'd love to see Orlando Pirates play there. I'd love to see teams from Algeria in it.
But as a football person, do you think this should be part of local football calendar already when they are starting? So
Yes.
CAF have to work hard to start
Yes.
telling us, listen, from your country, we'll take 2 teams.
Yes.
So as you're thinking of
Yes.
your schedule, economic-wise, football business, what can we take away from season 1 of African Football League?
First things we're gonna do to the CAF hierarchy, to the CAF management, to the AFL guys, for FIFA for embracing this. You gotta take your head off to them, because what they did, the way that they planned it, the way that they executed it, top notch.
This is how football is supposed to be played.
This is how, because
Every game is an event.
I mean, literally, you've got to look at the cameras were there, the broadcasting were there. And remember, CAF made a conscious decision to have this on free-to-air channels. So SABC.
Oh, by the way, I was watching it in English, French, and Arabic. Arabic, I didn't know what they were saying, but I was watching it in 3 different televisions.
And which means it's now in 3 different zones. And what you've got is that now our players are getting expo in different regions. There are different regions in Europe, different regions in China, in the Americas, that are now watching African Football League. And the spectacle that was there, from a broadcast perspective, from a management perspective, from a branding perspective, even when the presentation was done, there was a time where the clock said you've got 15 minutes to set up, because the presentation should be able to start. And it was that
Just a clock.
Everything, because
So Africa, we can respect time.
in
just a question.
African time is excellent, because now we are saying we did this on African soil and we kept African time. And African time, for the first time, it means excellence. That's a reflection on the leadership of CAF.
What does this winning the first African Football League for Mamelodi Sundowns, what does it mean now in the league, local league? I said before, I'll repeat. I'll ask again. Is Mamelodi Sundowns' performance is so high, like PSG, because they play against better opposition than the local one?
Mm-hmm. So what this has done, because it's on different layers. You look at the management of Sundowns, it says to you, you are doing the right things in terms of investing, because it takes a lot of confidence to invest in a young coach, in Coach Rulani. You're showing faith in him and giving him a long-term contract, be able to have him influence the buying of the players that you allow him to buy. That says a lot about your vision and trusting a young man. On a coaching level, it says, Coach Rulani, you're doing something right. Keep going, because you've come against the best. Who did Sundowns play? Petro Luanda, who are not a walkover by any stretch of the imagination.
Ali.
You then play the African champions, and you beat them in a 2-leg contest. And then you play the finalists, Wydad, who knocked you out of the Champions League last season, and you beat them over 2 legs. And not just like convincingly beat them.
When you get into Sundown mode,
but it also says the following to the players: you've got what it takes, you've got the skill, and you can win. Because
you can keep in South Africa.
Keeping them will be difficult, because what this does,
What's the next thing?
You are now placed on a platform where everybody's looking. Because now everybody's looking, how are you going to perform in the AFCON? Are you playing for your country? How are you going to perform in the Champions League?
Well, that is my question. My question is this is no disrespect to Mamelodi Sundowns. This is the big question. As long as Sundowns does not have the second star, Sundowns won't be respected as El Ali and Wydad Casablanca. They have. They must win.
But now, and now it's that this says, because you've beaten Alatli, you've beaten Wydad, you know how to beat those teams.
So you better win
now
the Champions League.
In a competition that matters, it says to Coach Rulani, you can win against them. Now go and get us the star. That is the mandate. This is the mandate from us as Sundown supporters. Go get that star, because you've shown us you can do it.
Get the second star.
They will get it.
That is Mpoza. Last word. Don't forget, go to X, Mpoza929. That's the handle. Great conversation. Keep it going there. Great spaces. You won't miss anything good. For me, Christophe Bongo, I will say au revoir. By the way, before you go, click subscribe.